Summary of Anna O., a novel written by Matthew Blake. Chapter 1. Dr. Benedict Prince sat across from his date in the dimly lit upscale restaurant, the soft glow of ambient light casting a warm hue on the surroundings. The air was punctuated with the delicate notes of expensive perfume as she leaned closer, a gesture that allowed him to catch a gust of fragrance that hinted at a life steeped in luxury. It was at this juncture that most conversations took an unexpected turn, and the peculiar nature of Dr. Prince's expertise came to light. "So, what is it that you do?" she inquired, her curiosity sparking a gleam in her eyes. A wry smile played on his lips as he responded, "I study people who commit crimes when they sleep." "A sleep doctor?" she questioned, her eyebrows knitting in disbelief. "I have Dr. before my name on business cards," he explained. "Dr. Benedict Prince, The Abbey, Harley Street. I am an expert in sleep. Not a medical doctor, mind you." The revelation hung in the air, and she seemed to grasp the weight of his words. "How's that even possible?" she asked, a tinge of skepticism coloring her tone. "Don't you ever wonder what you might have done when you were asleep?" he countered, his gaze fixed on her. Her discomfort was palpable, a common reaction to the unsettling topic he broached. "What kind of crimes?" she probed cautiously. "All the worst ones," he answered cryptically. "Crimes committed during sleep lack the distancing factor that most crimes do. It's not a story about someone else. Sleep is universal, the night as constant as the day." Her curiosity persisted. Surely people would wake up? Not if they're sleepwalking. Some even lock their doors and drive cars while still asleep. Some commit murder, he stated matter-of-factly. "Surely you'd remember," she countered, her skepticism unwavering. "From the lines around your eyes, I'm guessing you slept 5.5 hours last night," he remarked, deftly shifting the focus. She frowned, caught off guard. "It's that obvious? Do you have any memory of what happened during those 5.5 hours?" he pressed. Her pause was pregnant with contemplation. "I dreamt something," she finally admitted. "Like what?" he inquired. "I can't remember," she confessed. "My point is proved," he concluded, revealing the enigmatic nature of sleep. Suddenly, her demeanor shifted. "Wait, there was that case. What was it called?" This was the crucial moment. Most conversations never reached this point. He had a way of deterring people with his job description and stories about crimes committed during sleep. But there was one final revelation that ensured no one stayed. "Anna O.," he stated, taking a final sip of his wine. "I was the guy in the photo, the psychologist." Recognition flashed across her face. "You're the one. After that brutal finale. Did she really get away with murder?" He smiled dimly, checking his watch. "Yes, I was. And that question, it's the one mystery that still lingers." The date, or what remained of it, ended abruptly. Dr. Prince gathered his things, the weight of his past evident in the lines etched on his face. He had remade himself since the infamous case, but the haunting question persisted. As he walked away from the table, leaving behind the scent of expensive perfume, he couldn't escape the inescapable connection between sleep and the crimes that unfolded in its mysterious realm. The question of Anna O.'s guilt lingered in the air, dividing families, spouses, and even friends. Dr. Prince, a different person yet the same, carried the burden of that unanswered question into the night, a night as constant as the day, where sleep held its secrets close, and the line between waking and dreaming blurred. Dr. Benedict Prince, once the bespectacled figure in the infamous photograph that adorned every major daily newspaper, had become a man of dichotomies. The beard that now adorned his face had aged him, the slightly donnish dress sense had given way to a more seasoned look, and the hair showed hints of gray at the tips. He had remade himself, but some aspects remained unaltered, his eyes and his face, eternally haunted by the events that transpired after that photograph. In the wake of the Anna O. case's brutal, blood-soaked finale, Dr. Prince's life had undergone an irreparable transformation. The fall from grace, the subsequent exile, all were consequences of that pivotal moment. Yet, the question that lingered like an unrelenting specter was whether Anna O., the woman at the center of the storm, was truly guilty of the double murder that had captivated the nation. As he stepped into the cool night air, Dr. Prince found himself retracing the steps of his past. The memory of Anna O and the events that followed echoed in his mind. He had been the psychologist, the expert in sleep, trying to unravel the mysteries hidden within the recesses of the human mind. The world had watched as the bespectacled figure with mussed hair had graced the front pages, his life irrevocably altered. Now, in the present, he walked the streets alone, grappling with the shadows of his own history. The city lights flickered like distant stars, illuminating a path that seemed to lead nowhere. He had dedicated his life to understanding the complexities of the human mind during sleep, but the haunting question of Anna O's guilt remained the elusive enigma. The night air carried a solemn stillness as Dr. Prince found himself standing at the crossroads of memory and uncertainty. He couldn't escape the weight of his past, the echoes of a case that had defined his career and, simultaneously, brought about its downfall. The fall from grace had been swift, and the exile had been a self-imposed sentence to escape the relentless scrutiny of a world hungry for answers. He glanced at his watch, the ticking sound a rhythmic reminder of time marching forward. The question of Anna O's guilt had divided families, strained friendships, and haunted his every waking moment. It was a question that transcended the boundaries of the professional and seeped into the personal, a question that had become synonymous with his own identity. As Dr. Prince walked through the quiet streets, he couldn't shake the feeling of being both a different person and the same person he had been during the Anna O case. The city held its secrets, and the night whispered tales of unresolved mysteries. His journey through the urban labyrinth was a metaphor for the labyrinthine corridors of the human mind, complex, unpredictable, and fraught with hidden truths. The city lights reflected in his eyes, a reflection of the inner turmoil that had become his constant companion. The scent of the expensive Merlot lingered on his breath, a reminder of the fleeting connection with his date, the woman who had unwittingly stumbled upon the ghosts of his past. He wondered if he could ever escape the shadows that clung to him, if the question of Anna O's guilt would ever release its hold on his conscience. As the night wore on, Dr. Prince found himself standing in front of the Abbey on Harley Street, the address that had once adorned his business cards. The memories flooded back, the countless patients, the sleep studies, and the pursuit of understanding the intricacies. Chapter 2. The late hours cloaked the room in a dense darkness, interrupted only by the flickering glow of an old black-and-white movie, Strangers on a Train, playing in the corner. Nestled in an armchair, half asleep, I found solace with a tray of lukewarm curry and a half-empty glass of cheap wine. The scene unfolded as the characters danced on the screen, the tennis scene drawing me into the world of Hitchcock. While most praised Psycho or Vertigo, my heart belonged to Strangers on a Train, with its gripping narrative and the tension of that unforgettable tennis match. As I drifted into a semi-conscious state, the intrusive vibration of my mobile snapped me back to reality. I wiped grease from my hands and squinted at the caller ID, Bloom, Prof, the Abbey. A sudden seriousness in Professor Virginia Bloom's voice startled me. Known for her humor and eccentricity, she was a regular feature in a kaftan and heels on Oxford Street or at her corner table in the Langham, armed with a decanter of whiskey and a pocket of stimulants. With a bracing yawn, I slid the answer button and mumbled a tired, "Hello? Ben, sorry for the unholy hour. I'm afraid this one couldn't wait." Bloom's voice, usually filled with levity, now carried an undertone of urgency. "Is something wrong?" I questioned, trying to shake off the remnants of sleep. "You could say that. It's one for you, I'm afraid. A new request that's just come in. It's somewhat on the sensitive side." A forensic psychologist by trade, I had consulted for major crime agencies worldwide. The NCA, FBI, and Interpol knew this number well. Yet, this call felt more secretive than the usual cases. "Does this request have a name?" I inquired. The distant clatter of feet and voices on the line suggested Bloom was still at the Abbey, a detail that intrigued me. Checking the clock, it was nearly midnight. "Come round to the Abbey, will you?" "I've been told not to discuss anything on an open line," Bloom responded. On an officially sanctioned week's leave, with pending work and a journal article deadline, I hesitated. Bloom sensed it and played her card, "You have to give me something." There was further clatter on the line before Bloom, sounding distracted, said, "You might not thank me for it." The night outside was frigid, with September drizzle staining the sky. Despite the comfort of my front room and the allure of Hitchcock, the mystery of Bloom's call tugged at my instincts. I succumbed, agreeing to make my way from Pimlico to Harley Street. As I traversed the dimly lit streets, my thoughts swirled with possibilities. The Abbey, an enigmatic place, held secrets and discussions that transcended the ordinary. I could stay cocooned in the ambience of my front room, enveloped by Hitchcock's suspense and another glass of wine. Yet, I was wired differently. The unknown beckoned, and I always answered. Arriving at the Abbey, I was met with the musty scent of old books and the dim glow of antique lamps. Bloom awaited me, a silhouette against the low light. She handed me a glass of whiskey as I settled into a worn-out leather chair. "It's the Anna O case," Bloom finally disclosed. "There's something they want us to see." The Anna O case, a name that resonated in the realm of forensic psychology. A case shrouded in mystery and whispered about in professional circles. Bloom's revelation sparked a flame of curiosity within me. I pressed for details. "What is it that they want us to see?" Bloom hesitated, her smoky voice breaking the silence. "A series of incidents, seemingly unrelated, but there's a pattern. They need our expertise to unravel it. The stakes are high, and discretion is paramount." As Bloom unveiled the details, a web of intrigue unfolded. The Anna O case involved a complexity that surpassed conventional investigations. A tangled narrative, secrets buried deep, and a puzzle waiting to be deciphered. My week's leave and pending tasks now seemed inconsequential in the face of this enigma. The night wore on as Bloom and I delved into the intricacies of the case. The Abbey's walls absorbed our conversations, echoing with the weight of the secrets we unraveled. As the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, I realized that the Anna O case would demand more than just my professional expertise. It would test the limits of my curiosity and resilience, unraveling a story that defied the boundaries of the ordinary. Chapter 3. Dr. Benedict Prince stood in the doorway of Professor Bloom's office, damp from the rain and perplexed by the unexpected presence of Stephen Donnelly from the Ministry of Justice. Bloom's operatic attire and disheveled hair stood in stark contrast to Donnelly's more reserved appearance. The air in the room felt charged with secrecy, and Dr. Prince couldn't shake the feeling that he had stepped into an unfolding mystery. Bloom, the clinic's enigmatic head, motioned for Dr. Prince to enter, and he reluctantly took a seat. Donnelly's formality and insistence on confidentiality hung in the air like an unspoken threat. The weight of the Ministry of Justice's involvement elevated the situation beyond the clinic's usual consultations. As the door clicked shut, Bloom began, "Dr. Prince, we've been faced with a unique situation, one that requires your expertise and absolute discretion." Donnelly interjected, his tone serious and nasal, "Before we proceed, you must agree to our terms. This meeting never happened, you've never met me, and what you're about to learn stays within these walls." "Understood?" Dr. Prince hesitated, his mind racing with questions, but he eventually nodded in reluctant agreement. The gravity of the situation sank in as he wondered what could warrant such secrecy. Donnelly pulled out a folder with the Ministry of Justice crest and began detailing the case. "We're dealing with a matter of national security, and it involves a person of great importance. The individual in question is experiencing severe sleep-related issues, and we believe your expertise is crucial in finding a resolution." Bloom, normally brimming with confidence, seemed uncharacteristically somber. "This case is unprecedented, Benedict. You remember Anna O, don't you? The one that has baffled sleep specialists for years." Dr. Prince nodded, recalling the enigmatic case of Anna O, a name that had become synonymous with unsolved mysteries in the world of sleep science. Bloom continued, "Anna's condition has worsened. She's not just any patient, she's connected to powerful figures, and her well-being is integral to national stability. We need your help to delve into the depths of her sleep issues and find a solution discreetly." The weight of the situation pressed upon Dr. Prince as he realized the magnitude of the task ahead. Anna O was the elusive challenge that had eluded sleep specialists for years, a case that had garnered attention not only for its complexity but also for the potential implications tied to the patient's connections. Donnelly interrupted his thoughts. "We've arranged for you to have access to all relevant information and resources. Your role is to diagnose and treat Anna's condition discreetly, without drawing any external attention. The consequences of failure could be dire." Dr. Prince processed the information, his mind racing to comprehend the intricacies of the situation. The clinic, once a haven for sleep-related treatments, had now become a clandestine center for a case with national ramifications. As he delved into the details, Dr. Prince learned about Anna O's background, her connections to influential figures, and the increasing severity of her sleep disturbances. The Ministry of Justice, desperate for a resolution, had turned to the Abbey Sleep Clinic as a last resort. Days turned into nights as Dr. Prince worked tirelessly, combining his expertise with the collaborative efforts of the clinic's diverse specialists. The weight of secrecy bore down on him, and the stakes seemed higher with each passing moment. The clinic's usual ambience of tranquility now felt like a pressure cooker of hidden truths and impending consequences. As Dr. Prince navigated the labyrinth of Anna O's sleep patterns and delved into the recesses of her subconscious mind, he uncovered layers of complexity that surpassed anything he had encountered before. The blurred line between science and secrecy became more pronounced, and the clinic staff, once mere attendants in the background, found themselves entangled in a web of national intrigue. In the hushed corridors of the Abbey Sleep Clinic, where discretion was paramount, Dr. Prince and his colleagues worked against the ticking clock. The echoes of sleep-related treatments for the wealthy and influential were now overshadowed by the urgency of solving Anna O's enigma. The journey to uncover the truth behind Anna's sleep disturbances led Dr. Prince down unexpected paths, challenging not only his expertise but also his understanding of the delicate balance between professional duty and national security. The walls of the Abbey, once a sanctuary for sleep, now held secrets that could alter the course of history. As the plot thickened, Dr. Prince found himself caught in a web of conflicting interests, where the boundaries between healer and agent blurred. The Abbey Sleep Clinic, once a serene refuge, became the battleground for a struggle between unraveling the mysteries of sleep and safeguarding the nation's secrets. And in the quiet corner of Harley Street, under the discreet facade of the Abbey, the quest to unlock the secrets of Anna O's sleep became a journey that would test the limits of science, discretion, and the uncharted territories of the human mind. Chapter 4. The Abbey, with its ancient stones steeped in history, had witnessed many secrets over the centuries. But tonight, it held a clandestine meeting between Dr. Prince, a psychologist, and Donnelly, a high-ranking official from the Ministry of Justice. The room, dimly lit, was filled with an air of tension and intrigue, the shadows dancing on the walls as they exchanged cryptic words. Bloom, a silent presence in the room, seemed to emanate an air of authority as she closed the door behind her, shutting out any prying eyes or ears. The meeting was strictly business. No pleasantries, no lubrication with refreshments. Dr. Prince eased himself into the plump leather desk chair, his curiosity mingled with apprehension. It was clear that whatever transpired in the next few moments was of utmost importance. Donnelly, with an executioner's smile, acknowledged Dr. Prince's familiarity with the Anna O case and the Oxfordshire murders of 2019. The gravity of the situation sank in as Dr. Prince wondered why someone of such seniority, from the echelons of power, would meet him past midnight at the Abbey. The hierarchy, from legal director to the Prime Minister, loomed over the conversation, each layer signifying the seriousness of the matter. The Anna O case had become a household name, with podcasts, Netflix options, op-eds, and best-selling books delving into its intricacies. Dr. Prince, an expert in the field, had contributed to the discourse through his paper, Resignation Syndrome and the Criminal Mind, in search of a new diagnostic model. However, the shock hit him when Donnelly produced a slim manila file containing the unpublished article. The revelation that his work had already attracted attention within Whitehall left Dr. Prince feeling both sullied and fascinated. Donnelly's casual mention of contacts flagging potential items of interest hinted at the pervasive surveillance that accompanied high-stakes research in the field of psychosomatic disorders. As Donnelly delved into the specifics of Dr. Prince's article, the psychologist found himself caught off guard. The non-peer-reviewed paper, submitted only 3 weeks ago, had somehow landed on the desks of powerful figures. The wintry smile from Bloom added a layer of discomfort as Dr. Prince grappled with the reality that his work was being scrutinized at the highest levels. The focus shifted to the controversial aspects of Dr. Prince's theories, particularly the intersection of psychosomatic conditions and criminal responsibility. Donnelly's gnomic answers hinted at a familiarity with the criticism and attacks faced by Dr. Prince since his book hit stores. The psychologist found himself defending his work, emphasizing the need to alter perceptions of psychosomatic disorders and challenging prehistoric divisions between neurological and functional diseases. The revelation took an unexpected turn when Donnelly disclosed the real reason for the meeting. Patient RSH-493, identified as Anna Ogilvy, was to be temporarily released from Rampton Hospital for an impending trial. Amnesty International's appeal to the European Court of Human Rights loomed, and the Ministry of Justice needed to put Anna Ogilvy on trial for murder to avoid losing the case. Dr. Prince, bewildered by the audacity of the plan, questioned the necessity of bringing Anna Ogilvy to the Abbey. The gravity of the situation unfolded as Bloom, with balletic ease, despite her bulk, explained that the ministry's order was protected under the Official Secrets Act. Leaking any information about Anna Ogilvy's relocation would result in prosecution. The psychologist found himself entangled in a web of secrecy and legal implications. Prisoner RSH-493. The number resonated in Dr. Prince's mind, a stark reminder of the infamous Rampton Secure Hospital and its last female admission. Anna Ogilvy, or Ms. A. Ogilvy, had become a symbol, a name known to every newspaper reader. Donnelly and Bloom, standing now, seemed to convey the seriousness of the matter. Dr. Prince, feeling the dryness crawl over his mouth, struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what was unfolding. The revelation that Anna Ogilvy's temporary release was authorized by the Secretary of State for Justice and the Attorney General for England and Wales sent shockwaves through the room. The Ministry of Justice's fear of losing the case to Amnesty International added urgency to the plan. Dr. Prince, still grappling with the audacity of the situation, wondered why he was being dragged into the legal and political turmoil surrounding Anna Ogilvy. Bloom's brisk and matter-of-fact tone cut through the tension as she outlined the plan. Patient RSH-493 was to be temporarily released into the secure custody of the Abbey under her direct supervision. The strict confidentiality measures, protected under the Official Secrets Act, added layers of complexity. Dr. Prince was to be the day-to-day point of contact, coordinating efforts with the ministry while maintaining the utmost secrecy. As the reality sank in, Dr. Prince questioned the practicality of the plan. The risk of Anna Ogilvy being recognized after 4 years of sleep-induced seclusion was dismissed by Bloom, who explained that the prolonged slumber had altered her appearance. A nurse from Rampton would accompany the prisoner under an alias, further securing the confidentiality of the operation. Donnelly, his impatience surfacing, tidied the file neatly into his attaché case. The meeting was drawing to a close, but the weight of the decision rested heavily on Dr. Prince's shoulders. Sign the Official Secrets Act and participate in the covert trial at the Abbey or walk away from the situation. The unspoken threat lingered: if Dr. Prince's theories failed to awaken Anna Ogilvy, she might be free to kill again. The psychologist, torn between ethical concerns and the urgency of the situation, sought clarity. What if his theories didn't work? What if Anna Ogilvy couldn't be awakened? Donnelly, with a dry and hollow sigh, delivered the chilling response: sooner or later, Anna Ogilvy would be free to kill again. The Abbey, witness to centuries of secrets, now harbored a new one. Dr. Prince, a reluctant participant in a high-stakes plan, grappled with the moral and professional implications of awakening a woman who had been dormant for 4 years. The echo of Donnelly's words lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the responsibility that now rested on the psychologist's shoulders.